It is February. God damn it, I don't know the date again. I think it's the 27th. It's Wednesday in February. Last day of February, I think. Almost last day of February. Disregard that last part. I think tomorrow, you know what? Just forget this whole bullshit that I just said. Today's Wednesday. Nice sunny day here in Las Vegas. I don't really like it. I've already said that. It's terrible. I don't like that it's already like 80 degrees out here. And it's only February. We're still in the winter, okay? That's not a good thing. Like, of course the day's beautiful, okay? Everything's freaking wonderful. Great. All right. Anyways. So, I'm watching, like, I'm not really watching the news, but I'm watching my normal, like, internet bullshit that I watch. I was watching Piers Morgan Uncensored this morning, and he had a bunch of people that I like to watch, doing debates and stuff. So, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tune in. They're talking about Ukraine, and, everybody's giving their thoughts on Ukraine, and I mean, that's already like a pretty nuanced situation there. It just depends on what side of the fence you get. It's crazy, like, how skewed, like, political points can be depending on what side of the political aisle you are. Like, on one side, it's like, oh, well, maybe Ukraine started this shit, and maybe they had it coming, or something like, something along those lines, and we're not going to fund this war, it's just bullshit. And the other side's like, man, Ukraine did nothing, they're a sovereign nation, they need to have their independence, and they should be given every opportunity to defend their freedom and their independence, and I don't know about freedom, but their independence. And I'm like, okay, I could probably see, I'm too ignorant to know much about either side, but I'm kind of on the side of, we have a lot of problems in our own country without meddling in other countries' business, but America's kind of played that role, and that's kind of been our role. We're just an economic powerhouse, and a lot of countries look to us for support. And at the end of the day, I guess Ukraine is an ally of ours, and we should probably look after them. But I don't know, I would also like to say that I don't want Russia as an enemy. So there's like two sides of that coin. And if there's some sort of peaceful resolution that can be had without any more bloodshed, creating some peace between the two countries, where we're not, like, entirely affected, that would be great. That would be great. And then it went on to Gaza, like, the whole thing going on with Hamas and Israel and that whole mess. And, like, I feel like, for me personally, like, that situation is so complicated. It is so complicated. I cannot make any sense of it. Like, literally. I will believe anything anybody tells me about that shit. It is just so overly complicated, and I think the history is so rich and far, like, so rich and so much, like, history between these countries, if you can even call Palestine a country or whatever it would be considered. I feel like every time I try to understand it, especially when I'm listening to, like, a debate, I just get more confused. And I feel like that's probably a pretty common thing, because I consider myself, I'm pretty politically ignorant, all right? I know what's, like, in my direct, like what I'm dealing with in my life and what things affect me in my life. But I don't really know a lot. But I do try to educate myself a little bit before I like make a decision on what side of the fence I sit on. And this one is just way too complicated for me to understand. My little pea brain just can't understand shit about what's going on in the Middle East. And I would probably like be more on the side of Israel just because Hamas did a terror attack on them, and I don't know, like just me personally, I feel like that kind of makes them terrorists, you know? They went and killed a bunch of innocent people, took a bunch of hostages. But, like, if you listen to certain sides, they're like, well, this war's been going on for so long, and what Israel's been doing to this country is evil, and this and that, and this is just their way of, like, fighting back. And I'm like, okay, you know, I mean, sure. But I feel like anytime you're attacking civilians, that's not, like, purposely attacking civilians. That's not good. Like, that's not good. I don't see that as, like, a justifiable outcome in any capacity. Now, in war, there's always, collateral damage where innocents may be affected by that, but also something that's a bit deep for my brain. But I don't know. I think, like, I'm saying all this to just basically say I think that situation with Israel and Palestine is so complicated. It is so complicated because it just depends on where you're getting your news from, on what the truth is, on what your truth is, you know, on what you're hearing and what you believe to be true. I don't live in these countries, so I have no idea. I have no idea how to, like, form an opinion on that. And that's a kind of a scary thing because America right now is so divided over these wars, from Ukraine and Russia to Israel and Palestine. And it's like, I don't really think Americans really understand. And I think that they're just taking whatever information is being given to them from the mainstream media. And the mainstream media has not really known to be really trustworthy, it seems like. And when I dive into like these so-called experts on these like conflicts, it just kind of confuses me more. And I kind of wish they had like a dummy's guide for the wars that are going on. And it would be like actual facts, not skewed opinions, not reworded things to try to make it sound, you know, fluffier on one side and evil on the other side. Like, just straight up facts, just fact-based learning. It's so crazy. It's so complicated. And it kind of makes me understand why some people are so stressed out over this shit. It stresses me out. And I don't know how relative any of this stuff really is to my life, but obviously it is something that we have to be concerned about. Because everybody's talking about world wars, and I don't think anybody wants that. But I think that your average American citizen it's too complicated. It's just too complicated. And I'm pretty much, that's really all I gotta say. I think I just rambled about something I know nothing about for about 5 minutes, and that's just terrible. But yeah, man, I was thinking about that. I'm like, this is something I wanted to talk about. Just like, hey, I've been trying to figure this out, and I got nothing. I'm just scratching my head here. So I guess at the end of the day, I would just really like to see all these problems resolved and some peace in this world. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. We voted in who we voted in for office, and hopefully this administration is the one that's going to be able to make some things happen. So far, it's been looking pretty good, but it's all surface level stuff at this point. I don't know yet. I don't know. I guess we will see. And that's it.